Okay, Monday, July 10th. Back in the gym, almost full speed. Had the running injury 2 weeks ago, but managed to work it off, and I think I'm about 80% back to where I was before. So it just part of the realities of working out. Things don't always go your way. I'm really winded after just a 15-minute run. I have to get back up to that 30, at full pace still, but you just keep going at it. Gradually you get there. Okay, so today had some interesting discussions on the weekend. Talk about this vaccine conspiracy, about the COVID vaccines and everything being some big conspiracy to control us. My view on conspiracies like this is like, if they wanted to get us, they already did. I mean, look at McDonald's and look at processed food and cigarettes and Coca-Cola and all this chemical-based foods that are just anything but natural, anything but healthy. If they wanted to get us, they did. Those companies, those big food processing companies like Nestle and Coca-Cola and Pillsbury and Philip Morris Group, they have Kraft Foods. Then, RJR, Nabisco, and RJR was a tobacco company, and they merged with a food company. So you see a lot of this too. So they know how to create addiction. They weren't allowed to sell cigarettes so aggressively anymore, so they used all their cash piles and bought into the food companies and applied that same know-how to make food addictive. So if you combine sugar, salt, and fat in the right combinations, you can make a very addictive chemical. There was a documentary about this, but I think most of us just sense this all along, that it's like Chinese food in America, right? The more you eat, the more hungry you get, because of the monosodium glutamate. So you can eat 4,000 calories, in one sitting, and then an hour later you're starving hungry, and you want more. And that's engineered. That is by design. It's just like something more simple, like when you sit in a bar, they give you free peanuts and pretzels because it's loaded with salt, so you get thirsty and you want to order a beer. And I used to always order waters, and they would give it for free. But then after a while, they caught on and started charging me $1 a water. And then in Europe, I was doing the same thing. It became €1 a water. They actually changed the policy for me, I think, because I used to just go sit in the bar and drink water all night. And that way I would get the socialization, but wouldn't have to pay for it. But they caught on. They caught on eventually. But yeah, that's just my view on conspiracies. If I don't think they would, whoever they is, the globalists or the lizard people or whatever, who control the world, wanted to get us, that they would go through the trouble of making a vaccine. If anything, to me, I think the vaccines really didn't even work. I think, and this is just my view, I think COVID was one of these things like a lottery. Some people got it and it didn't affect them much, and some people got it, and it, like some young people were extremely fit, and they were gone within a week. So I don't know how much, that's my view. I mean, I'm triple vaccinated. My wife is triple vaccinated, and we have a healthy baby on the way. So other than population control, maybe the vaccine turned me from a Trump supporting conservative into a liberal, but I think I was more into a Democrat, let's say a conservative Democrat. I think I moved the needle a little bit. I mean, I was always on the line, so I don't know if that was the vaccine or maybe something to do with the living in Ukraine during the war and actually seeing all this come to life. Now we're seeing for sure that elements of the Republican Party, especially libertarians, are promoting a pro-Russian, pro-Chinese agenda, the decentralization of America, weakening the federal government. This is all like, mind our own business. This all plays into the hands of our enemies. It's like the greatest lie the devil ever told is that he doesn't exist. And this is exactly what libertarians are promoting, is that, if we didn't bother Russia, this wouldn't have all been a problem if we didn't provoke them. Nah, they were building up and they were planning, and if it didn't happen now, it would have happened 20 years ago, much worse, when they caught up with the technology and maybe even the society, stopped being a bunch of meatheads. Like right now they're at the point of Stalingrad where they're shooting their own people in the back who try to retreat. These poor Russian soldiers. Either you're going to get shot by the Ukrainians or you're going to get shot by Wagner. You really have nowhere to go. It's really, I don't know, if I was the Ukrainians, I would offer them some money to surrender or switch sides and create some separate battalion or something with them, or maybe use them for logistics, take their weapons away, just play on loudspeakers that they can surrender, and they would be in a prison camp here in Ukraine and get pretty good conditions, and maybe they could do some logistical work, packaging food or something. And I don't know how we could play that to our advantage. But anyway, so back to conspiracies. It wouldn't be that hard for whoever's in control of the world to control us. You have people, like especially Republicans, like vehemently defending like their right to eat what they want and go to Walmart and buy all that cheap, crappy food, and deep fat frying and all of this. Now, where did this come from? All this food and obesity. Now, I heard an interesting theory, actually, from all people. This people who believe that Hitler was alive in Argentina, and they had a theory that all this German money went to, after World War II. Actually, Hitler was the richest man in the world, they say, at that time. He was like the Vladimir Putin of his day. He had all this gold and all this wealth, and that all ended up in Argentina. So goes the theory. And from Argentina, that money was invested into funds, into London and New York, into investment funds, and those investment funds propped up processed food companies and the whole processed food business, because they knew if they wanted to take down America, they would have to do it from within, create a cancer from within. They knew they could never do a frontal assault on America. We just have like too strong of a military. We have a lot of gun owners, a lot of militia people. It would just be, it would be like that movie Red Dawn, the first one, the one with Patrick Swayze and Charlie Sheen when they were teenagers. It would be something like that. So what they had to do is create a cancer within our society. So using that investment fund money, they invested into processed food companies, into cigarette companies, and everything, and even into drug addiction, through cartels. And they propped all this up and started, making processed foods mainstream. Real American food is like grown up on a farm, like on an Amish style farm without, now the Amish are using like crazy amounts of chemical. They're like one of the best customers of Monsanto, from what I understand. They've gone full commercial. They can't own the farm equipment, but they can go rent it from the Mennonites. But that's another topic. I used to live in Delaware, Pennsylvania area, and I used to go to these Amish markets and everything like that. And you would see like Amish girls on their iPhones and everything like that. I think it was Roomspringer or something. But it's not. they're not so innocent as you would like to think. There are groups, there are sects within them, but they're businessmen. Let me tell you, they're one of the fastest expanding groups in America. They're buying up all the family farms because they're organized. They have like 12 kids. They teach them how to farm. They have a lot of cash stocked up. And so when some traditional farm is going bust in Minnesota or someplace like this, and nobody wants to live in rural Minnesota. Geez, when you have a great education and you're from rural Minnesota, you go to St. Paul, you go to Minneapolis, and you go work in finance or healthcare or something like that, or you work at 3M or something if you want to be an engineer, and you have a fun life. You're not bored out of your mind in -30 weather. So they buy those farms anyway. So they buy all those farms and they're expanding. But anyway, so that's mostly real American food. Chicken was killed that day. The eggs are all natural. Some of them might have been taken by the foxes. They have different colors. Vegetables, not hot dogs and sausages and, bacon and all this stuff. I mean, this is like all an invention of an industry. And they even said this is our culture. It's not Fruit Loops and Cheerios, and this is not our culture. Eating good hard oats, a hearty breakfast in the morning, like oatmeal and wheat, like buckwheat and all this kind of, like what we're eating here in Ukraine. I mean, we are kind of eating like a traditional American diet here. I mean, the traditional Ukrainian diet is very close to what the American diet was in the 1940s, 1950s. That might explain why all the people look good here. It's like Scandinavia, even like pre-Scandinavia, because Scandinavia now is even getting on the obesity bandwagon. They're up in Norway and places like that. Like Sweden, they're just crazy about sugar, right? You go to these like shops and they have like Walmart-sized places full of candy. And then you go in Norway, they're crazy about frozen pizza. You got every kind of frozen pizza. So it's creeping up over there, but we don't see it so much here in Ukraine. I mean, like I said, I'm just walking up on a neighbor's house, and I'm living like 20 minutes from the center, and this neighbor's got chickens in their yard. I mean, I think I've showed you some videos of my neighbors here, and this is like right in the city. Now, if you're in a Western country you're living in city limits and having chickens in your yard, I don't think it's allowed. I think you'd get a health inspector up your ass, pretty quick, but this is I don't know if you can see them now. All the trees have grown. I think I've shown you this house before, but yeah, this is the house of the chicken farm here. I don't know if the chickens are out yet. Oh, there's one over there. Yeah, there's one. Yeah, there's a chicken. Yeah. Up here, come over here, chicken. He wants to eat. Uh-oh, they're all coming. Yeah, see, all the chickens are coming. See, yeah. So this is what's for dinner in Ukraine. This is the dinner here. Just like that. This is why I love living in Ukraine. And now this neighbor here, they have a whole bunch of vicious dogs behind this red gate. So they look cute, these German Shepherds, but if you don't know them, they'll tear you to pieces. So they got a new fence and everything. I'm wondering about these houses. This is probably some of the most prime land in this area, because it's like, I think it can be rezoned commercial. They could put a gas station here or something, but there must be an internal family dispute why these properties haven't been sold out and apartment buildings or shopping or gas station haven't been built here. So let's just keep hoping these families remain in dispute. But I think at some point the money is just going to be so overwhelming and they will sell out and it'll all go modern here. But for now we'll enjoy this. And oh, guess what? We're getting a McDonald's too. So yeah, we have a McDonald's coming up in our area. So I don't know if that's a sign of progress. I have a baby coming, and one of the things I really want to do is no sugar, no Fruit Loops, none of this stuff, at least for the first 6 years, to train the taste. I want like vegetables, farm-raised meat on very occasion, like once every 10 days. And I want to train the train the baby's taste to like vegetables and like raw food, like food we used to eat before the processed food era. So yeah, anyway, back to the main story. So yeah, the processed foods are now part of this mainstream American culture, and we're addicted to them. And then it's like white flour, for example. It doesn't have sugar in it, but it turns into sugar. So all this stuff is engineered. And if food is coming in a box or in a package, you got to question it. You really have to ask, like, what's going on. But yeah, this is the McDonald's. This is the sign here for McDonald's and arson. So I think arson is a supermarket, not setting fires. It's actually the name of a supermarket chain here. I mean, in America, I think that would raise some eyebrows. But but I think this whole shopping center, I don't know if you can see it. There's a shopping center back there. It's old. This probably was built just after the Soviet Union collapsed. It looked like it's one of these quick construction things, like a gymnasium style, raised up metal roof. It's just like so I think that'll eventually some kind of shopping center will come here, because wherever there's a McDonald's in Lviv, there's like a big mall nearby. There's like some modern shopping center. So I think this area is going to evolve. And we're at the ground floor of it, and I don't know. I tell you, I'm not already shaken off the attacks and everything from a couple days ago, and yeah. I mean, I was really questioning whether we'll stay here. I think if anything, like I said, we'll probably move out to a village, because, with kids coming, the big city influences, they can be good. Culture and a lot of access to lessons like swimming lessons for infants and piano lessons and all of this kind of lessons you can access in a city. But then you can also access McDonald's and access the convenience store and all this poison basically. And I'm like 52 and I struggle with self-control, with sugar and candies. I can't even imagine a kid. And then they go to the daycare center and all the other kids are eating garbage, and then they get it from them and they develop this bad taste. It's a lot to think about. So yeah, maybe moving out to some Ukrainian village or something would be the next step here, and build a house out there and work with the other parents to, just like back when I was young in Minnesota, parents used to work together with the school to make sure the right curriculum and the right food was being served at lunch and the right things were being taught. There's a lot of involvement from the parents, what was being taught in the schools, and maybe that'll take root here. Like I said, Ukraine is always evolving. I mean, it's so I think we're gonna stay. It's the medical care system here is it's real. Is another one of these things that make you should we stay or not? But we're just an hour from Poland. But emergency care here, oh yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And I'm still getting intel on where the private hospitals, where the rich people go, because you do have rich people here, and rich people, have good doctors here, from what I understand. So, but it's very secretive, like where they are, who they are. You got to know someone, get a referral, and find these very highly qualified physicians. But yeah, that's the only real. You got to be very proactive and be on top of your health, because if you get a heart attack or something here, I don't know how much they can save you in the hospital and, what they can do for you. Hey, how are you? So, it's a new gym that opened up. There were the trainers from the gym where I worked out. Two of them went and opened up their own gym here in Avalon, but it's like a private training studio. You have to rent their time or buy their time, and they'll train you. You can't just go in there and work out, so different business model. I'm like a self-trainer. I work out by myself. So yeah, okay, so I'm home. That's all I got. Yeah, stay away from the processed food. Start asking a lot of questions, how this processed food came about and became mainstream in American society. That's our enemy, not each other. This processed food industry, Anyway, take care. Bye.